Joined now by Coach Haley Chatham, and I was talking about your program, Haley, and all the great things you've done in year three. But first and foremost, always good to see you, and thanks for taking some time out. I know you had a long day yesterday. We'll talk about that. But, again, thanks for coming by and sharing some great information with the Wildcat fan base about volleyball.
It's good to see you, too. Thanks for having me up.
So let's kind of talk about a few things. First and foremost, year three, your expectations when you got here to where you are today. How do you feel about the progress your program has made?
Well, in a month, we've won more games than we did the entire first season, so I'm super happy with that.
Let's talk about, the way y'all play. Now, you're in Division II, Region 23. If I'm not mistaken, it's Pearl River, Itawamba, and Northwest. You were the first in the state. Now Itawamba's joined in, and also Northwest. But when it comes to playoffs, if I'm not mistaken, you play up in Division I when you go over in that Alabama conference, or are they in Division II as well?
Well, we were Division I last year.
Oh, you were? Okay.
And this summer, we were moved to Division II to be with the other two Mississippi schools.
Okay.
So we're going to have our own little Mississippi three-team tournament at the end of the season with seeding based on our conference matches.
Right.
The winner of that gets to go and play Division II, the Region 8 conference tournament.
Okay.
So one team from Mississippi will get to go and play in another conference tournament.
What's it been like? I mean, you came in here, of course, you're well known across the state, across the region for your knowledge of the game, the way you teach the game. You've got your own academy. You've won some state championships at high school. But what was that transition like for you to come here at this level? And I mean it starting from ground zero. Just kind of walk us through that from your perspective. How did you get it done this fast?
Well, we're still working on it, Carrie. We're still working on it. It's not done yet.
Well, everybody's excited. I know that.
Well, the transition, it just involved a lot of figuring out what was important, because the important things differ so much on different levels, whether it be middle school volleyball, high school, club volleyball. Coming to this level, different things are important, and there's a lot of trial and error involved in that. So now that I've had a little time to try and make errors, I don't know, we've just settled into it all. We're figuring it out.
Recruiting had to be hard. You're saying, hey, come play for us, and they're like, well, what have y'all done? What was that like out on the recruiting trail early on when you're still putting Shivers Gymnasium in place to be a volleyball venue? You didn't have anything to tell everybody about except, hey, we're Pearl River.
Well, to be honest, it really wasn't that hard, especially in the beginning, because we were the only ones. We had girls all over the state begging to go to the next level. I mean, I was getting emails daily, like stacks of them. So, we were just happy to be able to provide an avenue for them to play after high school, and that's what we did. It might be a little tougher now. The more and more schools add, the recruiting's actually getting a little tougher, but it's fun, it's enjoyable. We got a great crop of girls to pick from in the state of Mississippi.
We're going to talk about your roster here in a little bit, but I want to talk about the explosion. I mean, many years ago it was soccer. Not everybody played soccer. Then they came with that. Then it was fast pitch softball, and now volleyball. Picayune just down the road, they've started a program a couple years ago. Courtney Dickens has got that program going well. But if I look at other places, OLA, East Central, where you were at, Van Cleve, those places, they've been staples in volleyball. But man, the explosion now. Everybody's wanting to play volleyball, and where you're located here from on the map, it's very advantageous because of the great schools around you.
Yeah, and we're right in a great spot. There's a lot of superb volleyball on the Gulf Coast, in the middle of the state, in the Jackson area, because there's good clubs on the Gulf Coast, that help foster that. In the Jackson area, there's great volleyball, and at the very top of the state. So right where we are located between that Jackson area and the Gulf Coast, I mean, it's a perfect spot. And all the area schools around here, like they've just started programs, within the last 4 or 5 years. Those coaches have done a great job, a fantastic job, learning themselves and then teaching the girls the game. It's just, you're right, it's exploded.
Let's talk about the trip yesterday. You go over and take on a team in Bay Minette that's unbeaten. You force them to the brink. I mean, you got down, you fought back, and just the performance of your team yesterday, in my opinion and others I've talked to today, puts you at an echelon. I know you're not where you want to be, but it puts you to show you can play with that level team. That goes back to helping on the recruiting front. It also piques the interest of what's going on in Poplarville over there. You're no stranger. Everybody knows you across this region, what you've done in volleyball. But now to go and play something, I know it's, I don't want to say it was a moral victory because it wasn't, but just the way your ladies played yesterday, man, you got to feel good about this bunch.
Absolutely. I mean, I walked out of that gym at Coastal Alabama proud as a peacock. You know, they showed some real fight. It's hard to get beat 2 sets in a row, 25-10, 25-10, and come back and take the fourth and almost take the fifth. That fifth set could have gone really either way. Just the fight they showed, they just trusted in each other, played for each other. They proved they were capable of some things that I don't think they knew they were capable of before last night.
Looking at your roster, you, of course, a sprinkling of a lot of Mississippi players. You've got some folks, some girls on your team from Florida, Louisiana, Alabama. Just kind of talk about your roster and how the mix of these ladies has come together to make what is a very, very fun team to watch. I've had a chance to watch Tyler call some of them. He does a great job, and it's been a lot of fun to watch it. I'm learning the game, to be honest with you. I've played pickup here and there, but watching it, I'm learning a lot about the game. But let's talk about that roster. I mean, you got some girls on here who really can play.
Well, when we got in the gym this summer, August the 1st, I was super happy on day one because the team got together and every single girl knew exactly what to do. So we didn't have to spend some extra time like on some training that I've had to maybe the past 2 years. These girls were already there. They've had great training and great experiences. So we got to just hit the road running this year.
Right. Tyler said pull it up a little bit. So let's go down the roster here. I mean, and I've looked at your stats. I'm learning about stats as I watch the games on PRCC Media. You know, I'm learning a lot of what these stats mean. But let's just kind of walk about some of the numbers and some of the ladies that are producing those numbers for you.
For starters, the name we all love to talk about around here, Diamond Jones. She was the leader in Division I NJCAA in kills per set. So in the entire nation last year, it was her. She is our go-to offensive player. She's explosive, powerful. She's one of our captains. A great leader, a great kid. And we lean on her, and she carries us well. Then we have some outside hitters, Leah Drain, Hannah Burks, Chloe Paskey. Those are returning outside hitters. They do a great job. They come in clutch. They know the speed, and can hang with just about anybody.
What's the biggest – I don't want to just kind of interject. What's the biggest adjustment for some of the ladies on the team here coming from high school to play at this level? Is it just the speed of the game in general, or is it I don't want to say the strategy, or you see more different kind of sets and stuff, but I'm curious to know how different is the game at this level?
It's mostly the speed. Now, the sets, have a lot to do with the speed, but just real fast transitioning, fast movement on the court, fast to do everything. Blocking makes a little bit of difference in high school. There's blocking, but I don't think it's quite as important as it is in this league. But it's the speed of the game. And our new girls, our freshmen, they've played in a whole lot of matches, and they're adjusting really well. I'm really pleased with the way they're adjusting to the speed.
So let's jump back to the roster, and I apologize for interrupting you there. You were on a roll, but the thought just hit my mind thinking about that transition. But you were talking about Diamond, and she is phenomenal. You talked about Leah. Let's just kind of continue to go down the roster and talk about some of these ladies and what they bring to the team.
Well, we got two phenomenal setters. One, Juliana Overstreet from Van Cleve. She won a championship from 7th grade to her senior year every single year in volleyball. So she is phenomenal. Then we have Avery Beth Durden, who came here last year as a right side hitter. She's a lefty. Some things happened after Christmas, and our season was in spring. We lost one of our setters. She stepped up. She's one of the best little setters now that I've ever coached. She's so smart. She can do it all. She can pass, serve, and just is really smart. How she spreads out the ball and where she sets her hitters. So I'm very thankful for both of those. We have some defensive specialists. Sydney Salter, I coached her at Van Cleve. She had played soccer at South Alabama last year and then decided she wanted to play volleyball again. So she's here playing soccer and volleyball right now. We're making that happen. She's a phenomenal soccer player too. We got Amy Wright. She came back. She's a defensive specialist. She's saved us a lot this year. She's playing with a lot of confidence and just leadership on the court. Allison Carpenter from Ocean Springs. She's a freshman. She barely comes off the court. From our first match, she's just a great player, well-trained, loads of experience. And then we got Anna Marshall from Lake Cormorant. Same story. She came in knowing exactly what to do. I just really got lucky with a group of great kids that wanted to be Wildcats this season.
We're going to take a 30-second break. 30-second break here. We're at halftime from W. Holden Stadium. Colin leaves Pearl River by a score of 14-13. The Perfect Community College Wildcat band performing in the background. We're talking with head coach Haley Chatham of the volleyball program here at Pearl River. We'll take a break. We'll come back in just 30 seconds on Wildcat football. And welcome back to halftime here on PRCCmedia.com and also the Wildcat Radio Network. We were talking at halftime here with head coach Haley Chatham of the volleyball program here at Pearl Community College. Our score, Colin 14, Pearl River 13. Hey, let's talk about the schedule and what's upcoming for you here in the coming days. I mean, you know, if you look at, oh, I have my schedule here. I lost it. I know you got a home game tomorrow, and let's kind of talk about that and talk about the experience for people. I tell you, if you can't make it, you need to get on PRCC Media and watch it. It's exciting. The guys do a great job with the coverage there, but let's talk about the atmosphere you've been able to create here in Shivers.
Well, Shivers is a great venue to play volleyball, and it's not too big, so we can really pack it out. The acoustics are terrible, which makes for a great volleyball experience. Every team that comes here just compliments us on our crowd, our attendance, just the hype that surrounds it all, and they all leave saying that was fun.
So Itawamba tomorrow, that's at 5 o'clock, and then on Monday you'll have a MUW here in town. Then you go on the road, and then you come back in October with a Saturday, Monday games at home. So you've got 4 games left at home for folks to get a chance to come and see the ladies play in person. How grueling is this schedule? The fact that you've got to go, and I'm going to say this, you got to travel quite a bit to play a lot of these games because it's just your team in Itawamba and Northwest in the conference. So talk about how difficult that makes it for you from a travel perspective.
Well, we just kind of talk about it at the beginning of the season and declare that we are road warriors. We don't let it stop us. We don't get, we don't let the travel get in the way. We like going to other people's gyms and especially taking games from them.
Yeah.
So, we just kind of get in that mindset, and we're happy to be here. So the travel doesn't affect us, I don't think.
Let's talk about campus here. Of course, your husband, David, the co-offensive coordinator, offensive line coach, his second year here on the staff with Coach Smith. And y'all have 3 children, Hannah, Hayden, and Graham. Just talk about the experience being here as part of the Wildcat family.
It's been great. Like, this is my 3rd season, 2nd season to actually live here on campus because the first year I didn't. And it's been great. Everybody's so nice, always taking care of you, always, concerned with you. I get texts after every single match from all kind of people that I don't even really think are interested or maybe even are watching, but they are, and they just are quick to give you a pat on the back, quick to give our girls a pat on the back. They just take such good care of them. I mean, it's been a great experience.
Dr. Brewerwood talks about this all the time. When he looks at athletics, it's part of the college experience. He said even for the students that aren't playing on the athletic teams, he wants the student body to be involved here, to be a part of that. And I think that yourself with your program and what's happened to other programs, that has become part of the Wildcat experience here on campus, is getting those students that are here, working on their education, maybe not part of another team, but also those athletes that are part of other teams. They become almost your pep squad.
Absolutely. They fill our stands, and we are happy to do the same for them, when it's their turn in their season. Our girls, they really pride themselves on being softball and basketball and football, also soccer, especially soccer this season, just being the pep squad for them. So you're right about that. And the students that aren't athletes, you're right, they do get involved. Like, we have students that are line judges. They run our clocks. I mean, they're music managers on the team. They, they do get to come and be a part, and we're so appreciative of them. So
looking at where things are today and, looking, down the line, have you heard anything on conference expansion in the state? Has any other community colleges come out and said, hey, we're going to add a program and get this thing from 3 teams and get it on up? Any talk about that?
Yeah, every year there's talk about it. I've heard of several schools really interested and want to start it. And, myself in Northwest and Itawamba are all willing to help them, lead the way for them. I just haven't really gotten dates, maybe years. I'd say probably in the next year or 2, though, you'll start seeing 1 or 2 more schools popping up with volleyball teams.
How great could it be? Let's just say that thing grows and 2-3 years down the road, you host a tournament here that's just packed out. You may even have to move it over to
the Coliseum.
To the Coliseum. I've thought about that. Watching Tyler call the games, and he's done a great job.
Oh, he has.
He's one of my little proteges there. I've been working with him. He did Wildcat baseball for us last year. Did a great job. Helped a lot in the region tournament. And then, when Patrick talked to him about coming to do volleyball and soccer, he said, I don't know much about it. I said, go watch YouTube, go watch TV, and go talk to Haley.
I was so impressed the first game that he called for us that I searched around for him, found his number, and called him the next day and said, he's great. He was phenomenal. We're real thankful to have him.
But couldn't that be a great thing to be able to have that kind of atmosphere here in a couple years?
Yeah,
I know you got to think about that.
Yeah, we'd love to. And maybe sooner than a couple years,
Right.
we can start hosting tournaments, just finding room to expand, to have a lot of teams
Right.
come in. But we'd love to do that. It's definitely on the horizon.
Haley, always good to see you. Just so excited about what you've done with volleyball here at Pearl River. 3rd season, and it's become just part of the life here. It's become part of the athletic programs that everybody looks forward to, and a continued success for you and your team in the days ahead.
I appreciate it, Carrie. Thanks for having me.
Always good to see you. Haley Chatham, boy, her program was something else, folks.